a 24-year-old geologist living and working in Buckeye, Arizona. It is one of the westernmost suburbs of Phoenix. It's a low-lying desert valley, a resort spot that has quickly grown into a full-scale city. And it is where Daniel set off on a start for a job that he loved. He left work in Buckeye June 23rd. He has not been seen or heard from since.
He was never seen again. Almost a month later, his car shows up completely crashed in a ravine, turned over. No blood, no body, no Daniel. Crash data determined that the vehicle had been driven an additional 11 miles after the airbags deployed and the ignition cycled over 40 times after the crash. Buckeye Police Department says that's not foul play to them. They don't really want nothing to do with it.
Red paint transfer on the right side of the Jeep.
The vehicle was tipped over on the passenger side, so there's no red paint in this area. So how that got there, that's why I'm saying that vehicle did not crash here. That vehicle was, its last place of rest was here, but something was going on with that vehicle.
It's another one of those cases where someone just goes missing, vanishes, no trace. I still don't know how that happens. But I'm not going to try to tell this story. No one can tell this story to you better than Daniel's father, David Robinson. He's been boots on the ground since day one. He knows everything that has happened and that has not happened. So, I'll just let David take it from here. Do what he does best. Advocate for his son. And as usual, we got your back.
He earned his degree, did very well, and like I say, he graduated 2019. So this is his picture. He's very proud. I'm very proud. His family, his mother, his siblings, everybody is very proud. I guess once he saw Arizona, he fell in love with Arizona at the same time. One of his friends from college, parents, had a business called Matrix New World, Metro Southwest Groundwater. They're the owners of that company, engineering company. And that was Dane's friend. Of course, his friend, I'm sure, talked to his parents, and his parents gave Daniel the opportunity to get a job at Matrix New World. And this is him right here with his Matrix New World hat on. And like I said, Daniel, they hired him on as a hydrogeologist, also called a field geologist. He's been there for a little over 2 years before he went missing. June 23rd, 2021, one of the workers named Roger, one of Daniel's friends, came out to my daughter's apartment to inquire if Daniel was there. Of course, he wasn't there. My daughter was really, really concerned. This for two things. First of all, this guy knows where she lived. The second part is that he was asking for Daniel. Of course, she called me, and we talked about that, and I gave her all the due diligence that we need to do to make sure nothing ain't going on. Go to Daniel's apartment to check it out while I was making phone calls. I checked with his mother, talked with some of the friends, other family members, you name it, to see if anybody heard from Daniel. But my daughter went over to his apartment, and his doors were locked, his vehicle's gone, but she was able to peek through a patio, little blinds or whatever, and saw that the living room light was on. And having that been the case, when she reported that back to me, the first thing I'm thinking is some type of foul play is going on. And of course, I called the Tempe Police Department, you guys, to do a welfare check. They listened to me. The dispatcher listened to me. He asked the question if anybody have seen him. I said, well, some guy came, pretty much told the guy came to my daughter's apartment, saying that, he's one of the workers from his job. And last place they saw him was near some White Tank Mountains. And when I used that word, White Tank Mountains, the Tempe Police Department declined to help. They told me I need to call the Buckeye Police Department, which I ended up doing. But by the time I was talking to the Buckeye Police Department, it was well past the time when I look at the clock it was well past the time that Daniel would be gone without telling somebody something. It was over 6 hours, and that was very problematic for me once I got the timing right, because Arizona is on that time of the year is 3 hours behind South Carolina. And so, of course, I tried to put a missing person report in. The Buckeye Police Department told me I couldn't. I had to wait 12 hours, and they told me, I didn't know their policy at the time. I found out later, hindsight, there was no such policy. But nevertheless, I was told to wait 12 hours. I had to wait a full 12 hours before I could report them missing. And so I wait around the house for another 3 hours, and then I ultimately reported. The Buckeye Police Department, again, once they took the report, Officer Cruz seemed very helpful. He took a lot of information. He talked to the guy that seen my son last, Ken. He talked to the co-workers. I got all the information I can for him. Anything I could do to help, we was working together. He told me him and another officer would be going into the area where Daniel was missing. At the time, I didn't know this area. I just heard of White Tank Mountains. I didn't know, but he mentioned the word Sun Valley Parkway. He said that they would be going up and down Sun Valley Parkway to see if he's stuck on the side of the road in the area. And they have never went in the desert. They just went in the area. But once I found out that Daniel was missing in the desert, I requested them to go into that desert, and I requested them to take a helicopter to go look for him. It was declined. And of course, they told me they could do it in the morning. Right. So the morning came, Haley, that came in to take his place, said his higher ups declined and restricted that search, helicopter search, because they said he's a grown man. If he want to disappear on his own, he can. And it was an assumption. Of course, my family heard about it. I talked to them about that. And my auntie was very angry about hearing that as well. And she wanted to call the Buckeye Police Department. When at that point, that's when I was actually started heading up to Arizona already. And she called, whatever she said to them, they definitely finally said it's going to get a Phoenix Firebird helicopter to go search for Daniel. Tempe Police Department welfare check, like I said, was denied as a recap, and as well as the Buckeye Police Department. It was the search was denied on the 23rd, 24th, and part of the 25th was denied. June 26th was the first desert search for Daniel. They got on their report 25th. I have the 26th. And it was with the Phoenix Firebird helicopter that they claim. Hindsight, there is no record so far. I've been trying to get from out of Phoenix, and they can't find it. They say they're still searching. There was no record of that ever happening, this Phoenix Firebird helicopter. I did interview with Ken. He's the last person that seen my son out there in the Sonoran Desert, and I had to look him eye to eye. Anytime a man tell you something different from what you know about your own child, you got to look at, especially as a father, you have to look at him eye to eye. He got to look in my eyes and tell me the things that he told law enforcement. When I talked to him, of course, he told me verbatim the way he told Officer Cruz, the first officer he talked to, and the first officer that reported back to me what he said that night. Like I said, I reached out to Daniel's job. They set the arrangement up for me to meet Ken off of Sun Valley Parkway and the Cactus Road, near the Cactus Road Junction. And the same as that place, you guys, where my son met Ken to follow him into this desert. So I can imagine that where I was parked is the same place Daniel was parked when he met Ken, because they said it, according to Ken, they had a conversation at that gate. He met him at that gate. My son got in the vehicle and followed him into that desert, right? So, but this time when I got there, I did let the company know I was coming. I was near there, and they said Ken would be coming to the gate. He'd be at the gate waiting. This guy a little while later showed up. I don't know who he is to this date. I still didn't get a name from him. But the only thing he was more concerned when he walked to the vehicle, he didn't let me even get out the car yet. He was walking to the vehicle to ask why I needed to see Ken. Right? I don't know if it's Ken's supervisor or what the case may be, but this guy was asking a lot of questions why I wanted to speak with Ken. Right. Tell him, hey, look, I'm just Daniel's father. I just want to talk to him about what he heard or seen last about, the story he told law enforcement about my son. Still don't know who this guy is to the day. Just like I said, when he pulled up, we was waiting at the gate. He pulled up and he backed his vehicle up to the gate, got out. Then he came to the vehicle, as you guys seen. The first thing he did was offer me a ride back to this well site. And I declined. This is why, you guys, first of all, I thought it was very odd and strange to me, because the guy was saying, hey, look, because I asked him, look, how far is this well site? He says, about 20, 30 miles. Then he gave me some big number, how far it was. And, I thought it was like, man, that's far. That'll take a while, to get there. And I told him no, but he's the stone. You see him right there in this picture is leaning over to the passenger side to reach over the passenger side and started knocking stuff off his seat, the passenger seat, and I guess a lot of trash, and to knock it on the floorboard and say, hey, you can give me a ride. And I told him, hey, no, I'm not going to leave these ladies up here at the gate. No, you can have Ken to come to me, right? So what he ended up doing, you guys, he got on the cell phone to call Ken. And once he got on the cell phone, Ken answered the phone. I could hear them. I was in shot. I'm really close. I could hear them talking. He said, hey, told him that I was there. And then all of a sudden, he told him, hold on. He got in the truck. He pulled forward. And then he finished his conversation with Ken, pulled back to the gate where he at right now, and then told me that he was coming. And I thought that was very strange. Nevertheless, that's exactly what happened. He took off. It took them a good while to come back. I saw a truck coming up the road, the dust road. You can see the dust flying in the air, and it was Ken. When the truck pulled up, it was a utility truck, a white utility truck, and this is the utility truck, guys, you see there. And the reason why that side compartment is open is because when Ken got out that vehicle, he looked like he was on the defense, and the first thing he did is open that side panel, and he just stood there with his hand in there inside that box, like as he's going to get a weapon out of there, or he's getting a hammer or a tool. I don't know what he's doing. But I was watching his hands because that was what I was trained to do in the military, watching his hands to see what he's doing. And his postures is really on the defensive. After a while, I was telling him, hey, talking to him from that distance, tell him, hey, what I was there for, just wanted to hear what he heard or what he seen from Daniel. Verbatim. I mean, exactly the way that he told the law enforcement agency, the Officer Cruz. I mean, exact wording, almost like it was written down or something. And I was like, okay, well, good. But as he was talking, of course, I'm taking notes. He started telling me some extra stuff that he didn't tell the law enforcement by staying left to the tracks, and that he knew law enforcement would come. This thing was going to go national to, the way his travel, the way he traveled to go search for Daniel, open up this gate and going out a mile and kept going on top of the hill and spraying rocks with red paint so law enforcement would know where to come, things like that. So those type deals, so he gave me all this information, and I was writing it down. So you guys can see the pen in my pad in my hand. I was writing it down. I called the Buckeye Police Department right after Detective Biffin and told him exactly what this guy was telling me. And to this date, you guys don't hear anything about it because, like I said, again, the Buckeye Police Department is very selective of what goes in their report. They're very selective of what they want to investigate as well. If there's anything that would suggest anything of foul play, they stay away from it, in my opinion. On the 30th, Buckeye PD brought me and my daughter and I, to the interrogation room. You guys, like I told you before, I've never been in interrogation room, but the Buckeye Police Department been the first one to put me and my daughter in interrogation room and brought us in through the back door at that, you guys, to ask us questions about Daniel, his mental state, right? And so they had us sitting there for a while coming up with anything we could think of that was strange. So of course, we looking for things strange at this point. So we started naming some things whatever we could come up with. That's why you heard some of the things, for instance, my daughter saying he was staring off a week before at her apartment or something out of it. So we started putting things together, and it kind of feel like maybe he was showing some signs of some type of deal, but he wasn't. Of course, you guys, he wasn't. But those are things we're trying to pull together in that interrogation room. Of course, at the same time, you guys was able to give them information about Daniel's bank statement as well as his phone records. I was able to get the transaction you guys heard about at the Shell station, and my daughter was able to get some other information from the cell phone records. July the 6th, 2021, the Buckeye Police Department performed a welfare check to Daniel's apartment. We was out there, of course, talking to the Buckeye Police Department. I was there with them before they went out to Daniel's apartment, talking to the landlords. The landlords didn't agree to that point. Then would not let the family in for whatever reason. They talking about legal issues. They wouldn't even let the Buckeye Police Department in because they was calling a legal issue. They need to have a warrant or whatever case may be. But what ended up happening, the landlords finally agreed that they would allow the Buckeye Police Department in with stipulations, but they would not let the family in. They would not let me and my family in. But they told the Buckeye Police Department officers, I was there on phone call with them, that they can come, but the landlords would have to be present with them and walk in there with them. They can't touch anything, but they can take pictures. And that's exactly eventually what the Buckeye Police Department had done. July the 9th, the Buckeye Police Department did a second search with the Civil Air Patrol. That was almost 2 weeks after Daniel went missing, you guys. They did the Civil Air Patrol search. that covered the area where the vehicle would eventually be found. And it's also what they claim in the Buckeye Police, where that Phoenix Firebird helicopter search they said they did. They covered the area where the vehicle would finally be found, and they came up with nothing. Empty-handed, didn't find anything in any of those searches. On July the 12th, 2021, the Buckeye Police Department put out information about Daniel to the public. Really late. July 19th, Daniel's Jeep Renegade was found in the desert by a rancher. And I'm putting this picture right here. So you guys look on the bottom corner, the right corner there, you can see Daniel's vehicle sitting in that ravine. Now, you heard the Buckeye Police Department time and time again would go out in the public when you ask them why they claiming they did all these super searches they have done and have not found. If the Daniel's vehicle was out there for 30 days, why haven't you found it? They do magic tricks, you guys, try to do Jedi mind tricks with you guys and say, oh, it's because the terrain was so lush and we could have missed it. We just missed it. So you miss it all the times you claim that you was out there. Like I told you guys, the way that the law enforcement approaching Daniel's case, looking for him, it's only a technicality. They could actually put it in their report that they went to go look, but they didn't really look. They just look. And so they can put it on the report that we was out there on this day. They make the department look good, make them look good, but they haven't even looked. Because you guys, if you really think about it, from day one, my son went missing. The law enforcement haven't found a construction cone out there. I'm telling you guys, nothing. The same area you see with this vehicle on the right corner, not too far from that. Like I said, less than a city block, if you want to put it in block term, block and a half, was where the human skull that we found. Also, human remains were found in this area, and they claim they had these cadaver dolls and things. Now, you see the scene of the vehicle. I'm gonna go through the pictures here, you guys. Do y'all see a bunch of law enforcement vehicles hovering around? This is the drone footage, you guys. I wish I can zoom in on the screen with you guys, but if you can zoom in, you can actually see the ground and things like that. But this is the same. If you guys look right here, little vehicle right here. Every time you call the Buckeye Police Department, I called them out to my searches before, asking them for resources. They came out twice, empty-handed. When I invited them out to my search, they came out empty-handed. It seemed like 3 officers out there, empty-handed. Each time, these guys are getting this little razor they got, and they just ride around, don't do anything. This goes along with the rancher story. The rancher told me that the same razor that they brought that day, when he found the vehicle reported, he said they brought the same razor. They always come with the black trailer they carry it in. And they came out with that razor, and the tires are flat. The rancher said he had to change the tire for him, fix the tire. It was the Buckeye Police Department. There was no helicopter search. They used drones. This is story now, you guys. This is before I got all these pictures from the Buckeye Police Department. Did an interview with the rancher. He said, hey, look, there was no helicopter searches out there. It was only a drone. They had drones. And I'd be damned, you guys. When I finally got all the stuff that the chief of police, Chief Hall, told me, he said, this is all the pictures we got, everything. And he gave it to me on the flash drive with some other things, the final report that they had of the Daniel's case, as well as the partial report they gave me at the meeting. It was labeled. It's still labeled. I still have that flash drive from them. It's labeled drone, right? There's no helicopter pictures, no nothing. This is drone. And so the only thing they did out there in that day looking for Dan, when that vehicle showed up, they did drone footage. I have on recording, Detective Biffin, he's saying definitely, hey, look, he telling me the reasons why. He telling me the reasons why they decided they ain't gonna do any forensics on the scene, right? He said he ain't seen nothing that warrants. He looking at the scene right here, he ain't seen nothing that warrants a DNA being done at the scene, you guys. Of course, this right here is a tent that they put in right here. If you guys, I got some other pictures I will show you. I'll be adding to this timeline. But they have this tent right here. One of them sitting up under the tent right here, cooling off, sitting on something. You can see all the things that's here, but they there. One of them holding, and the other tent is for the drone tent. He's holding the drone remote and things like that. If you look at the whole bigger area right here, let's go out far from the south of the crash site. I put this in, you guys, because I want to show you how the terrain look. It's very open. You don't see a whole bunch of hitting where they say you can't find a blue vehicle. You see that blue tarp they got on there, but you can't find a blue vehicle in the brown desert, right? And you see a couple little tall brushes right here, but it's not a condensed enough where you will miss a blue vehicle's lying on its side. It's impossible. But this is the ravine the vehicle found in. My investigator felt it was brought in this direction and pushed down this way, and that's where it ultimately went down into that ravine, right? But like I said, you can look at them on the tent. That's one sitting there. He's sitting on a little canister. I got other pictures, other views of this. He's sitting on the canister. I could zoom it in on this if I could. Had my touch screen for you guys. And the other one, he just standing there cooling off it, but he got the drone. One of them had the drone remote. And that's what they're doing. So it wasn't no major search, you guys. That's word games. I'm saying you can read a report and there's misinformation. You in your mind, you say, oh man, they did swelling search looking for Daniel and they ain't found nothing. There was no swelling, overwhelming search, you guys. So I just want to make sure you guys can see that as well. Again, this is, imagine if you was up in the air looking for Daniel, supposedly. You can right here see the officer walking around here. Like I said, again, that's real near where this 10 is here. You can see the officer walking around here. If you can see that from a drone footage sitting that high, you can see this vehicle sitting here in this ravine from that distance, from that height, right? Imagine a helicopter. They said they're flying slow. Imagine they did Civil Air Patrol with the airplane flying over really slow. The vehicle wasn't there, you guys. According to their own search, it wasn't there. It goes with the findings of my investigator that suggests and says by physical full evidence of the computer itself, the information from the vehicle itself, the vehicle was not there. But yet Buckeye policemen are doing everything they can to make you guys believe it was there. They hired their own investigator to rebut everything you find here that would suggest foul play. That's exactly what the investigator did. A person who have never seen this vehicle, he probably look at the same picture I'm showing you guys right here and making a judgment call on pictures. He didn't even go to the manufacturers to even find out about the mileage situation on the vehicle. He went to a dealership, asked some workers, but he can write in there, yeah, I went to the dealership and a Jeep expert said this. And I guarantee you the reason why, because the manufacturer will come back and say, heck no, they match perfectly because we designed this thing to do that. Because if not, it's called a recall, and they don't have any recalls with that situation on that vehicle. But the Buckeye Police Department want y'all to believe that. Here, Chief Hall on CNN talking about, yeah, that's a mystery. We can't understand either. It's cranking up 4 to 6 times after the airbags deployed. So you think Daniel's lying, sitting in this vehicle after the vehicle crashed in this ravine, flipped and rolled the way they claim it. The place where I house Daniel's vehicle, they have rollover vehicles for insurance purposes. And they showed me some. They said that vehicle never was rolled over like that because it would have crushed in the roof. For one thing. The other part is, like I said, they want you to believe that Daniel was in that vehicle with his superhuman powers, I guess, and sitting in that driver's seat, pressing the gas, the brake pedal, and cranking the vehicle up 4 to 6 times. For what reason and how could he do it? Is it physically impossible? So everything suggests a foul play, and they're refusing to accept it. And that's why I'm asking you guys. I'm doing everything I can to get Daniel's case moved over. There's too much damage going on to Daniel's case, and I had to get it moved out of the Buckeye Police Department ASAP. And it's my son's life, my son's integrity, his justice depend on it. Breaking news, of course, July 19, the vehicle showed up in that ravine. This is the damage. Like I said, you guys, the Buckeye Police Department wants you to ignore this right here. The 2 impressions windshield, that the evidence that we found that somebody beat it in with something heavy, something like probably a baseball bat, could have took a boulder or something really heavy, large, which one on this side, when my investigator found, they hit at this point and kind of rolled down across the windshield. This was a impact directly into the windshield. Somebody was trying to get to whoever was in that vehicle through the windshield before all of this crash and stuff. If it was a rollover, you guys, when you imagine all the windows would have blown out this vehicle and all kind of stuff, because the integrity of the roof is dependent on this windshield. That windshield have been smashed out of there. Another problem that the Buckeye have, this is a sunroof panel, right? Sunroof panel. This is also Daniel's boot stuck up under the front end of the vehicle. Like the rancher said, unless your son is superhero, human strength, how he get the boot, the front end of that boot stuck up under the vehicle? He must have lifted the vehicle up and stuck it under there, and also stuck the sunroof panel up under the vehicle, right? The problem with the sunroof panel, Buckeye claimed that he kicked it. Their story was he kicked the glass out and got us with the glasses on the ground. This vehicle don't even have a glass. The glass, if possible, which I still doubt, came from the driver's door. That's the only glass that's broken out in this vehicle. The glass on the ground had to come from that driver's door, which I still, like I said, you guys, I doubt that glass is on the ground is the glass that comes from that door. And the reason why, because when I first went to that scene, I seen this glass was on the ground as if somebody set it there and crushed it up. The other part of it is not that much glass in the vehicle. Very light amount of glass in the vehicle. It's impossible to have a windshield and not that have barely any glass in there. But the other part, like I'm saying, you guys, that sunroof panel I did put on this Q&A before. I showed you guys a video where you guys could search it out yourself, a 2017 Jeep Renegade, and you can look at it. They have a key. To get that sunroof panel off, you would have to use a key that's located, like, you know, some people have spare tires in the back of their trunk. It's located in the back area of that vehicle. You have to lift this panel up to get the key, and you got to unlock that panel. But they once again say he kicked it out with his superhuman strength and got out there with a head injury and all this kind of stuff. You guys, that's the inside interior of the vehicle. You see all the dirt and stuff that's there from the baggies. If you guys look, it's a whole bunch of baggies. It's supposed to be samples from the wells and stuff like these baggies with a bunch of dirt and all kind of stuff in it, rocks and dirt. So that's where you probably see all this dirt and stuff from. This vehicle's right here sitting on the side. That's why it's located this way. But they want you to believe that he was in his seatbelt, I guess, but the seatbelt locked like this somehow, and that he was sitting there cranking the vehicle while it's sitting here on the side. This part is on the ground. This is a passenger side lying on the ground. And they want you to believe he was in his vehicle, sitting up there, pressing the brake pedal and trying to crank up the vehicle with the airbags in the way. And he just sitting there trying to crank it up somehow. Right? Crazy stuff. July the 20th, the Buckeye Police Department told me that the vehicle was found. It went over 24 hours, you guys, to tell me that my son's vehicle was found on that ravine. Whatever they're doing that whole entire day, you guys see the pictures. They told the rancher as soon as they came out on the scene, finally showed up, that whatever you do, don't you alert the news media and don't alert the family. If they was gonna make it a crime scene, I could see that. They didn't make no crime scene out there. You didn't see no crime scene tape. You didn't see no forensics being taken. He told me they didn't look at it as it. Look at it. They gave me everything as safekeeping, so they wasn't even interested in looking at Daniel's case as some type of crime scene or anything. They looked at me as like, hey, here's his thing for safekeeping. Nice to meet you, Miss Robinson. Go back to South Carolina or whatever the case may be. They told my investigator they wasn't investigating. They went on social media. They took that off, but I got copies of that as well. They said there was no more leads to follow, which they were. They was done with Daniel's case. Gave me the full report, unredacted, as well as they before that gave me a partial report. They was done with Daniel case until this thing went national, and then they pick it up and say we all been investigating. We're investigating, brother. Investigating what? When you gave me everything, what are you investigating? They got a bogus PI report. Man, they ain't never seen my son's vehicle, ever touched it at all, physically touched, seen it at all, nothing. Bogus report. I mean, what you investigating? Pictures or something? I've been trying to figure out what they're doing. They have nothing. They called me the other day asking me for something. I'm like, oh yeah, we need something to match up. You had evidence there. You gave it to me. Everything, broke the chain of custody, gave me things, and all of a sudden try to act like you investigating. Investigating what? If it's a missing person case, what are you investigating when you don't want to make it a criminal situation? So you guys, they just all over the place. The Buckeye Police Department is all over the place. I don't trust anything they're doing from this point. I need some professionals into my son's case. I had a meeting with the chief of police, Chief Hall, on the 22nd. That's when I learned more, Nicolette. I said, because I asked him, I'm like, look, how you guys know there was no blood in the vehicle? Well, we didn't see any blood in the vehicle. With their eyes, they didn't see it. And I asked them, hey, do y'all use some kind of chemicals? I'm going by something I see on TV. Luminol, whatever call the stuff, some whatever light or something you can find, somebody wipe up blood or something. They haven't done none of that, right? I found all kind of things in that meeting, you guys, they haven't done. I demanded under my request, they ain't gonna put it in a report that way. Mr. Robinson at this meeting on the 22nd demanded that we do some fingerprinting. That's what I asked for. I didn't know what to ask for. I just asked for fingerprinting. But they said they did the swabbing of the steering wheel and this and the shifter. You need to go farther than that. You need to get the forensics done of the airbags, the red transfer paint that we found. Everything you guys know about my son's vehicle, we found these things. Buckeye haven't found anything. They don't know nothing about no red transfer paint. They didn't know nothing about the 11 additional miles on the vehicle. They didn't know nothing. Everything that you guys know of, it came from myself and my investigator, period. Not the Buckeye Police Department. So they're taking credit for a lot of things that we have done. After that meeting, the Buckeye Police Department, Chief Hall gave me a partial report that day. He promised me the pictures that you just seen. He promised me a full report because once the detective finished writing the report, they'll be done with it, and he's gonna give me a copy. They're gonna put everything they gave me. They said they're gonna put it on a big flash drive and give it to me, which they did. I have it to this day. That's why I'm telling you guys. They got it all labeled on the flash drive, and they gave me everything that was done with Daniel's case. So my investigator not investigating. Here's the black box data that they didn't even read, and that's what my investigator. He didn't go pull it on the black box data off that vehicle. They gave him the paperwork that came off that vehicle, and my investigator, they just don't know how to read it. and my investigator read it for them and found 11 additional miles, and you name it. That's where all that come from. Saturday after the 22nd of that meeting I had at the Buckeye Police Department, that search, the strangest thing happened. I had many searches before that, but that was the strangest one because right after that meeting, Chief Hall showed up at that search. The vehicle magically showed up in the desert. He came out there talking about he was there and all the stuff and point me into the wrong ravine. And then he was grandstanding. I mean, he just lay there, but skipped me over. Me and my daughter, very disrespectful, but talking to the crowd like he's Moses and saying, hey, you guys want to know this vehicle is? Very disrespectful. Didn't ever show us where this crime scene was located, but yelling out to the volunteers in my searches if they wanted to go out and see this crime scene where the vehicle was found. He wanted us to know where this crime scene at for whatever reason. Took us out there. We followed him, like I said, Moses, going across the looking for the promised land or something, and he went up there and we went across. I mean, it was real close. Went over this hill, and I'd be damned. He took us on that area. The rancher showed up and corrected Chief Hall. Chief Hall got red in the face and left and never ever been seen again. But he was out there. Chief Hall was out there. I'm telling you guys, grandstanding, talking about the cartels. He gave me the impression the cartels did something to my son and put his vehicle down in that ravine. Did something to him in that ravine or something out of the way he put it. So I'm saying, you guys, that was the strangest thing that ever happened. But Chief Hall have never, to this day, ever came to any of the searches after that. He just wanted to make sure he came the way I took it later. Make sure I know the vehicle's right here. Make sure that happened, and he just took off, never come again. All right, sell the story. That's what I'm looking at for whatever reason. And the vehicle wasn't there for 30 days. We already know that. But he wanted to be there for a reason. 7/29, July the 29th. The searchers found human skull, and again, you guys, the area that I showed you guys before. I'm saying if I can go back, I wish I can go back on it real quick. But that area I showed you guys where the vehicle showed up in that big desert area, that human skull was literally short walking distance, block and a half. You guys, we put in the block turn from where that vehicle crime scene was at, with that vehicle sitting in that ravine. And you trying to tell me if you was using all these so-called cadaver dolls and so on, you would have found that. This is the K9 search information. I want to show you guys this too. But on here, you can see it right here, the K9 search that was on August 21st of 2021. This is my K9s, right? Buckeye Police Department said they used the Maricopa County. They claimed they had all these K9s. I'm thinking like 7 or 8 of them or something. We had two groups of K9s. This is from my search. This is the K9s that we brought into my search. And it had nothing to do with law enforcement, right? These are certified K9 dogs. The temperature that day was between 85 and 97 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity 58%, 32%. Light wind 0 to 6 miles per hour. They need a little wind for K9. We started to search at approximately 7 o'clock, south of where the vehicle was recovered. I call it a crime scene. Our plan was to work west to the butt with the exposed rock on it. And that's what we call this is Pride Rock, this area that we was looking at. Because that's where they claiming this mountain lion lives, where he does live in that area. But this is where the mountain lion lives. So that's what they mean by the bottom of that mountain area. Located approximately 1 mile west, we walked from the recovery site to the south end of the bottom of that mountain. No alerts from the K9. At the Haciapa Wash, we spoke with the local rancher who found the vehicle, stated that mountain area. We wanted to search where it was where a mountain lion's den was located. All right, so the rancher said that the mountain lion den was located there. The rancher also stated that while Fish and Game had a radio collar on one mountain lion in that area, he felt that there was more than one mountain lion living in that area. Based on this information, we chose not to go all the way to the base of the cliff where the mountain dens were located. We climbed approximately halfway up that mountain and terrain across that mountain. Okay, this height was above most of the gullies that fan out from the base. We hiked all the way to the north end and then went back down to the Haciapa Wash. At the wash, we met up with our team, and our decision was to make a return to the vehicle due to the heat. We returned to the vehicle by a different path north of the original path. On the return trip, K9 alerted to a large dead tree. We worked K9 veiling through the area, and he alerted high on the tree, jumping on his hind legs, trying to get higher. He ultimately performed his trained final response at the tree, we were unable to recover any physical evidence that Mr. Robinson was at the tree. The rest of the search back to the vehicle was unremarkable. A sniff was then conducted at the well site where Mr. Robinson was last seen. Neither K9 alerted at the well. So let me tell you something, you guys. What I'm saying is the other report from the other dogs, I told you it was 2 sets of dogs that day. But the other dogs that they reference on here on this report here, they took the dog in the same area over there, and the dog did the same thing on the same tree. And this tree is located really close to where this crime scene where my son's vehicle was found. Really close. The thing is, I'm saying that it was really close, you guys, where this vehicle was found, this crime scene, real close to it. But somehow the Buckeye Police Department in Maricopa County, they haven't found anything. Like I told you guys from day one, law enforcement haven't found a construction cone magically, not finding nothing. But anything I'm doing, we finding all kind of things. And they so-called say they did search. They did extensive search for Daniel. They have not. But on the 16th, guys, of September, I was able to interview the rancher, and he the one gave me all the information I'm telling you guys about now. He was able to give me those information about how many officers was there, how many dogs was there. There was no helicopter searches. You know, that was just a drone. You know, but everything he said matches what they gave me. I haven't seen the evidence yet of a helicopter search, for instance. So that is words they put in the report. And I think what's going to happen is these officers, they'll be careful. These law enforcement agencies going to get caught up on things they wrote. And that's called falsifying documents. And they better hope they do have those things.
Okay, beautiful people, I'm leaving my hotel on my journey to walk through Daniel Robinson's day. I'm gonna start at his apartment and go to the gas station, the job sites, and ultimately the crash site. I've already said my prayer. Now, I feel a little bit of tension. I feel a little uneasy. This is Daniel's day. It's in my spirit already, and let's go. This is where the journey began. June 23rd, 2021. About an hour earlier than it is now. This is where Daniel started out. He left home on a normal Wednesday morning. Still going. 2 to 3 lanes of traffic, merging lanes, multiple intersections, crosswalks. There's just no way he did all this feeling odd. I'm sorry. And how was he okay this whole time? And then as soon as he gets there, within 15 minutes, everything changes. This route takes you through Levine. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. If you know anything about Levine, it's where Caitlin lives. I am in Levine, headed to
Broadway Road.
To do it long before he got to work. We are in the country. Now, of course, we can't know if this was happening in June, but if it's anything like Nevada, where I'm from, construction goes on forever. But anyway, now we're driving in construction, and it literally has a sign that says no lines, no lane lines. So yeah, there's that. Back to the 4-lane road, and we still got a half hour to go.
Turn left on West Lower Buckeye Road.
My God. I'm almost to the gas station. And this is Jackrabbit Road. Fuck. I don't know if I have time to explain. Jackrabbit and I believe Elliott is where the vehicle that they thought was Daniel's was found and then lost. So I have arrived at the Shell gas station. This is where Daniel stopped. And he got gas. But he didn't get a lot of gas. It's kind of, no, not kind of. That really bothers me. That really bothers me. Gas wasn't as expensive, so it wasn't the cost of gas. Welcome to Verrado. This was his last stop before he hit the job sites. But then what happened? Alright, our next stop is less than a mile away.
All set, let's go.
To the first job site. Still traveling Daniel's route. We have arrived at the first job site. We can't get to it, so to speak. There it is. Just west of this location here. Which was 0.7 miles from the gas station. Anyway, let's keep going. Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road. It's Daniel, y'all. Let's see if I can get some of these flowers, y'all. Let's see what we can do about this empty landmark here. I'm not having that. Daniel's here. I think I'm gonna borrow a few more flowers. How lucky we are, they were already yellow. Please spread the awareness, y'all. Something happened out here. Why did he leave the job site? That's what I want to know. After all he did to get here. You saw it. We just did it. Why did he leave? Daniel did not go off to be a monk. He had so much air and opportunity between where we started this video and where we are now. If he wanted to disappear, he was in the perfect places. He did not do all of this. Make it all the way here, get to work, and decide to walk back off and be a monk. What happened? Why did he leave the job site? That's where I'm at. There's a reason. And I think that reason tells us where Daniel is in my mind. Yeah, let's put some more flowers up. I can tell that I want more flowers there. So hold on. This looks better. Yeah, I did my best. I didn't have any tools. I was unprepared. But the earth gave. And I tried to make a little cross on the ground with the rocks and the sticks. Got the flowers up there, and I found a pink ribbon. It's not yellow, David, I'm sorry, but Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus should not be a blank canvas. Something very important happened in this area. And this is our last known landmark. I needed to stand out in my own mind and my heart. So I hope this works for you when you drive by. I hope you know that a whole bunch of people care. And on behalf of thousands, for sure, I can tell you, we want you to find Daniel. And Daniel, we love you. I guess that's what I was trying to say here. The cross is there just as a prayer to God to watch over Daniel and to lead us to all the clues that might get us to that justice and that peace that we always look for. Let's go.
Today. Again, let's continue to be praying for the Robinson family. Let's continue to stand in the gap. You know, we know the Bible says, amen, that he hears the cry of the righteous. So let's just keep crying out, you know, during this season of the time that we're still trying to find Daniel. Amen? Amen. Amen. At this time, you can go ahead and blow out the candles.
Please help find Daniel Robinson.